Hey guys, just recently I've had a few of my friends in my tight community reach out to me and they're like, hey, we want you to have a conversation with Onion Head. And Onion Head isn't just Onion Head, that's what his channel goes by. And I will leave a link in the description box where you can go find my friend Andrew, his channel. And so today I'm just going to have a conversation with you basically to get you aware who this guy is. And we'll talk about a few topics. And that'll be it. We're not going to sit here and talk for 2 and 3 hours. We'll probably have a 20, 30-minute conversation and get you aware of my friend Andrew. Hey, Andrew, how's it going, brother?
It's good. Thanks for having me, Eric.
No problem, man. I do have a few friends who are like they really loved your fan and they really love your conversations about onions.
Yeah, so the onions, they came to me in like a fever dream. I realized that there was certain electrical properties associated with foods, and that if I ate amounts of these foods, that a certain effect would happen in my body. And basically, at the time, I had lots and lots of heavy metals in my blood, and I needed a way to counteract that. And I was literally in prayer about it, asking God to please show me how these things were happening in my body, how this sickness and inflammation was. And right at that exact moment, I heard something on the radio say the word orange peel. And I went to myself, I thought, well, orange peel, what is that? And I thought I was literally praying for God's guidance at that moment. And I literally had orange peels and I ate one. Immediately, I felt a relief of the inflammatory symptoms I had been experiencing. And then I went outside and I picked some rhododendron bush leaves. And I don't recommend you do this, but I just to see if what was going on, if this was reproducible in other plants. And by the way, the peel was extremely bitter. And I immediately associated that bitter with this effect of healing that had come over me. So I went outside, I tried these waxy leaves. I know makes me sound crazy, but I did it. And it's just, you got to experiment with these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I had this bitter quality again, very strong, and then instant relief of symptoms. And I realized right there that this bitter association was a chemical compound that was doing something in my body to have this effect. Because when I ate um, the James Dean sausage biscuit, preformed microwave crap, it had the opposite effect. It had a tensive quality to it. It gave me increased symptoms of this chronic inflammation that I was experiencing at the time. So now because I ate after that. I wasn't just eating leaves and peels after that.
Right.
Yeah. So now I thought to myself, well, what's going on here? And I prayed upon it. And that night, as I was going to sleep, it dawned on me. It just came to me in that half sleep, right before you go to sleep, where you're really suggestible to what's going on around you. You hear things that can be incorporated in your dream, that type of thing.
Right.
It was like an angel was whispering in my ear and said, it's electrical. And I just hoorah came over me. It was like, okay, so this is an electrical effect that's going on from the food I'm eating. Okay, so what is this electrical effect? Now, the first thing I honed in on was negative and positive electrical forces, because that's something that our physics that we use commonly in society talks about. And I recognize that very instantly, just looking at the electrical outlet of your house, that the positive blade is the one that shocks you. This is literally the electric in everyone's electrical outlet. The negative has no effect, and the grounding is grounds you, right? And that's the round terminal. So there's two blades, the short blade, the long blade, and the round terminal. And so I thought, well, this James Dean sausage patty, you know, the microwave kind or
Right.
whatever. I
Right.
had like 300 of them at the time. One of my family members had bought just boxes of them because they were
Jeez.
cheap. Yeah, from
Yeah.
like, one of those big stores.
Right.
And so I was eating a lot of them. That's why I keep going back. I'll never forget this time because that's when I realized instantly the poisoning that the world had been under for so long of processed foods, what processed foods really were. And what processed foods really are, I'm jumping around a little bit,
That's okay.
is unstable. They are unstable from a molecular standpoint, which is to say that they are um, minorly radioactive. They
Right.
really are.
They are.
All processed foods. The longer you put something under fire, that's what it's doing. It's molecularly separating it. Like how gases, the hotter they get, the more separated they get. You can see this from steam, right? So our food, that's the charge that's associated with was this um, this stability of molecular structure. Okay, and this is just using the classical physics model, not classic, but the common physics model that I believe is incorrect, but most people understand. Um, so then, if that's the case, what is this? There are these orange peels, right? With my first breakthrough. What is that? That is the most stable part of the fruit. It's literally the peel, it's the barrier. It keeps the sugary, the fruit, the slightly acidic fruit, the slightly magnetic fruit, right?
Mhm.
We'll get to that in a second. The slightly less stable food stable within this barrier. And it
Right.
also keeps pests and invaders out. So this orange peel, all of a sudden, I'm recognizing it for what it is. It is uh, this bomb, this great force of demagnetic energy, deionizing energy, right? De-radiative energy, however you want to phrase it.
Right.
And it's like, this is unbelievable, right? That all of a sudden now I've got this tool that's more powerful than any antibiotic that I've ever taken because I can feel it instantly have an effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I I've said this many times to a lot of people who know me. It's like when you eat something or drink something
Hmm.
and you have a negative effect like that, obviously, first and foremost, that should tell you to avoid it, right?
Hmm.
Don't touch that again. But for me, and probably for you too, you experiment a lot with things that hurt you because
Yeah.
what you want to do, you're trying to figure out why. Why is it hurting you? And for me, it's some microscopy and some other things that I do to see how this thing is harming me so quick. Like the second it literally hits your tongue, it's activating something in your body. Matter of
Hmm.
fact, all the way down to my feet. So I could put something on my tongue, whether it's a beverage or something to eat. And next thing you know, I'm having numbness, tingling, glass-like stabbing sensation in the bottom of my feet, the back of my calves, and all the way up through my neck. Just like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
You know, it's kind of like sublingual medicine, how some people like, for instance, back in my day, I was treating somebody with chest pain. You know, they're having acute coronary syndrome or they're having a STEMI, ST elevation heart attack. You put something under the tongue called nitroglycerin, and next thing you know, the blood pressure is down. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that. That's that type of systemic effect that certain foods are having on me. And again, like you said, I always feel this electrical sensation with it, along with it.
Hmm.
Food,
Hmm.
electrical.
Yeah. So
Uh,
once you understand that food's electrical, right? And again, if you take the classic, well, not the classic, but the commonly understood physics model of positive and negative, and you associate positive with radiative forces and negative with balancing them, then right there, your mind can break through. If you've got fat on your body, that's a store of positive energy, right? Just using this paradigm. I've found it since then. I found a better paradigm that we can get into very quickly if you want. But so how do you counteract that fat? You can literally work it out of your body with physical activity. And what is that doing? It's taking that positive charge and it's mating it with something else, okay? With that negative energy, right? That negative charge. So when we move, and this is with my next breakthrough, when we move, right, in this world and we burn that fat off, what are we doing? We're compressing our body. We're systematically compressing our body, whether you're talking about walking or running or lifting weights or whatever. Lifting weights is the easiest way to see it, but it's all the same thing. It's a systematic compression or a series of compressions that we gather strength from. So that's what strength is. It's the ability to form compression and release it. Okay, so you got fat on one side associated with positive, and now you've got this strength and compression associated with negativity. What's the opposite of compression? It's tension. What is tension? It's the expansion, right? It's the molecular separation of substance. And compression is the contraction of them. And there we go. That is the core of what Onion Head Andrew Rumble Channel has figured out is that uh, tensive forces are radioactive, are associated with magnetism. That's not to say that your body doesn't have a natural magnetism that's beneficial because it is. But when what we're talking about today, what's going on is that people are so magnetic. And because they're so magnetic, they're being able to be externally accessed with blanketed frequency that's more or less covering the whole earth right now. And that's a long conversation we don't really need to get into. To counteract that, right, is compression. And we can generate this compression through the food we eat, which is like the onions and the garlic, which is what the channel is named after and what that lady had interest in. We can do it through physical activity, and we can actually even do it by building machines, right? That access these fields, right? These counter spatial fields. And what I mean by that is collapsing, right? And you would think when I say a collapsing field, you would think like entropy, but no, that's actually a field that's getting blown apart, right? That's what magnetic forces are doing when they're, well, that's what entropy really is. It's getting blown apart with these radiative forces. But when fields collapse, it actually makes things more stable. And that's got to do with dielectricism, which is a bigger conversation. Again, for time's sake, we don't need to get into. But one in particular that Eric was talking about that right before we came on that had great success was this copper fan, the spinning copper.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Uh,
Get into what led you to this spinning of the copper.
Okay, well, I was actually messing around with another tech that does dielectric fields, and it's called bubble tech. And basically, what you do is you take a violet ray wand and you wire it into a thing of concrete. And in that thing of concrete, you'll have steel wool and various other things that basically make the largest capacitance possible. That's electrical capacitance,
Hmm.
right? And what capacitance is the capacity for dielectricism.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's it in the way that we talk about it. Like an electrical engineer, we'll talk about capacitance and inductance.
Hmm.
Inductance is the capacity for magnetive um, reach. I don't know how the right words for it.
That's all right.
And you get what I'm saying, though.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you coil wire,
Hmm.
yep, like just like a coil, every coil works like this. It makes a toroidal field. That toroidal field is the measure of the magnetic force that can be flowed through this coil. Not the right way to say it. It's not really flowed through it. Once you have the electrical energy going through there, which is the mating of dielectricism and magnetism, it forms two things always. It forms a counterspatial ring which
Hmm.
is right in the center of it, and then it forms a toroidal field all the way around this counterspatial ring. And the toroidal field is the magnetic force, and the ring, the counterspatial ring, is the dielectric force. So the toroidal field is going out into the environment, and the radially spinning um, dielectric ring is collapsing, right? And those two charges always balance each other, always. And that's what makes material that we experience, right? Anything we are touching is different balancing of that force. Basically, the harder it is, the more dielectric capacitance it has.
All right.
Okay, I know that was a lot, but
Yeah, good, good, excellent.
we are so far behind is because of this dielectric, not understanding this balance of dielectricism and magnetism. But just to keep it simple, because I could just ramble, and I'm sorry, Eric, that I am.
It's
But
okay.
it's so fascinating, right? When you break through on this, you understand these things. It's just like the limit is it's not there anymore. But what we do when we take a box fan and we take copper rods and we twist them together and we attach them to the fins of the fan blades or the fan blades, and we spin that. What that does is it creates the radial counterspatial dielectric field, just like is present in any toroidal forms. Uh, so you can take a big section of wire and coil it and run power through it, and you'll get a little dielectric ring to form out of that. And if you take one coil here and one coil here and power them up facing each other, then you'll have a dielectric ring form here and here, more or less. And between those dielectric rings will be this compressive force, right? The same force that's prevalent in orange peels, the same force that's prevalent in onions, all that. So now what we've done is we've taken this thing that we had to wait for the earth to produce, and we produced it ourselves in a less dense substrate. That's what building a box fan and attaching these copper wires twisted to and spinning it does. Has the same effect on your body as eating fresh raw vegetables, just not as potent.
I will tell you, my small experience with the fan and some of the people in my community. One of the first things that they have noticed was, especially if their environment felt like, what's the word? Where your environment feels like it's against you at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
toxified.
Yeah. And they can just make this simple little fan and they have this calming effect to their body.
Mhm.
And for me, I was noticing calming effects with, and we won't get into it too much, calming effects with what I consider weaponized people today. And now, not everybody today is weaponized, but there are certain people amongst us who are weaponized when they come into your environment. You notice this big, we'll just say energy shift. And it seems like most of the energy is shifted towards or at you in a violent way. And so, and I've tested this out many a time, and I've had these fans set up when I knew that I was going to get a visit from these particular people. And we would just say that these people are friends and family. You know what I mean?
That's why I started laughing.
That's what we'll just have to say because they
Yeah,
they are friends and
yeah,
family
yeah.
and neighbors. And again, I have taken so much time with these people to, and I don't mean just to say these people, but to walk them through with kindness, dignity, to show them what's going on. And
Mhm.
whether it's in a microbiology format, as far as showing some blood work, pre and post visit, I've done that. And what I've presented was these fans have changed outcomes when we're in proximity to the people who have unfortunately become weaponized to a degree. And again, it's not everybody, and but it does work. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for putting it out there because that's where I got the idea from. And I know this wasn't a concept that you developed, but this is something you put out on your channel. And
Mhm.
so it's done. It's so simple. It's so simple. It's so simple.
Yeah.
You don't break the bank. You literally
No.
can go to Walmart or wherever and buy the cheapest damn box fan you can with plastic fins and buy some cheap small wire, copper soft wire, softer the better, really, so you can handle and manage it.
Mhm.
And you can just stick them on all those fins. And it's that easy. It's literally that easy to be able to control what you can. And that's kind of what
Yeah.
we're working with today is control what you can. Just like control what you eat, control what you drink. I
Mhm.
mean, all these little things can help you in this assault that we're all being a part. All of us are part of this assault system at the end of the day. And the little things you can do to control what you can, it goes a long ways these days.
And I think, the more you do this, the more you buy time for people, right? Because we are being more and more toxified every day. And once you understand that, once you're initiated into it, You'll figure it out, especially with what we're talking about today. If you make dielectric energies in your near environment, in your body, with your habits and whatnot, and also machines you can build, then you will understand that. And I personally believe the majority of people that understand that are going to survive what we're going through. But there are so many people right now that are just stepping into this information and need more time. So you build the copper fans for your friends and family and give them more time.
I agree with you. And that's probably a very good place to end for us because, you know, I don't like to overwhelm people. And that's why all my videos, in case you've been following me long enough now, Andrew, you know, most of my videos 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, because
Mhm.
it can be overwhelming
Mhm.
to present, I guess you would say, to present the war. When you're
Mhm.
presenting the war or talking about the war, it can be overwhelming, especially, and I get it all the time. I'll get emails all the time or comments in the comment section where like they come across the first video on my channel, and obviously
Mhm.
you could tell they haven't been through the whole thing. And that's where I suggest anybody
Mhm.
go to the beginning of somebody's channel. Look through their work. Figure out what's going on. And then come back to that one video that disturbed you. And
Mhm.
then maybe, just maybe, by the time you get back to that video, you have a better understanding.
Mhm.
And maybe, and just maybe, you're not so scared anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fear. It's
Hmm.
fear. So once you realize how bad it is, really is where we're at, it just wrecks you. It just wrecks you, you know?
It does. It does. But yeah, don't be overcome by fear and don't be overcome by pride either.
Yeah.
Both of them are very deadly. And
Yeah.
but anyway, I really appreciate your time, Andrew, and we'll have you on again. I appreciate you, brother.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Fire Medic 8. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care, brother.